Hi, everyone. Give me just a second to finish getting my camera set. All right. Let me move that just a smidge the other way. Okay. Well, I let my computer restart over here. Oh. And of course, I forgot to take my meds. Let's get over here, shall we? Oh, I'm crooked still. Okay. Now let's see if that's better. Oh, that's better. All right, let me get my computer turned on so I can see the chat. All right, sit that right there. If anybody's in, I can't see my chat yet, so you know, I think I'm gonna pull my camera in just a smidge. And probably grab my glasses. Maybe. We'll see. Where did I stick my glasses? Oh, we'll wear these for now. All right. All righty. Oh my goodness. My laptop had to restart and update and all that good stuff. Of course, it was because I wanted to go live. Jeez, Liz. So before we get started, there's a few things that I just want to get out of the way. First, I want to acknowledge that we've lost a couple of people in our YouTube family, as far as the YouTube creators. Tim Totten passed away earlier this month. I believe it was on the 11th or the 13th, one of the two. He lost his battle with cancer and heart disease. So I want to send out my condolences to his family, his partner, and all that. It's hard when you lose a loved one. No matter how you lose them. But it's especially hard when you watch that person fight for their life and they lose the battle. I myself watched my sister pass away from it. So yeah, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Also, I want to send out, not that they will ever see this, because they have no idea who I am. But if you are a NASCAR fan, you have undoubtedly heard what happened over the last week. We lost one of our, well, it's my husband's favorite race car driver, and I believe he was my daughter's for a time. Kyle, it was highly unexpected, and I just want to send out condolences to his family. Hey, long time no see. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way because I need to. There's been some updates on my health. Many of you know, all of y'all should know that I'm an MS warrior. And because of that, I have to have multiple scans a year. I've been having some unsettling issues. We thought it was a relapse. Turns out it was not a relapse. We're still kind of unsure what that is, but what happened, apparently it looks like I probably had some issues with some old lesions, and that can happen. But this last scan, the doctor was worried enough that he sent me in this last week, I saw my new neurologist, who I quite like. He took the time to sit down and talk to me and discuss with me about my issues. He was a little concerned, so he sent me for some blood work and some a new MRI, CT scan, one of those. Anyway, I do not think I was supposed to see the results before the doctor, but I did, and it has to do with me and my MS, and well, I'm impatient, so I read it. And yes, I know exactly what it says. I have been diagnosed with a rare brain tumor. It is a as far as we know, it is a non-cancerous tumor. It's very small. It's, as of right now, it doesn't look like it's going to kill me. However, it's scary when you're dealing with that. There's only one of two options. One, we wait and see what happens because it is so small. But because I'm having symptoms that out of the blue that I don't normally have unless I'm in a relapse, and some other issues like migraines, and everything that's been going on with me adds up to what this brain tumor can cause. And that only leaves one option, and that is taking it out, which means brain surgery. I don't know exactly where it is. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's at the back of my brain, towards the lower end, but I'm not 100% sure. I have not seen my doctor yet, but because of all the symptoms and stuff that I'm having, I'm almost 100% positive that they're going to recommend surgery. I will keep everybody informed, but this does mean that I do not know how long the recovery is. I don't know how I'm gonna react to it. So when that time comes, and if the decision is made that it needs to come out and I have to have surgery, I will try my best to have some videos ready to go so that I do not have to worry about trying to get up here and try to make a video or do a live if I'm not feeling like it. Because my health comes first. So I just wanted to give everybody a heads up that that's probably going to happen in the near future. I'm not a big fan of let's just watch it. If it can come out, it needs to come out. I don't want it. So I will try to be on as much as I can up until we figure out what's going on and keep everybody informed. Right now, I don't know where this is going to lead. And so it's scary. We're already struggling financially. Thank God we have insurance, but that doesn't cover everything. And we're only on one person income. So all we can do is hope for the best. Now, what have I been up to? Besides all that, I have been testing a pattern that my friend Hetty has designed. Now, this pattern has not been released yet. While I was working on it, I noticed some issues with it. So we're fixing those issues, and I am going to be doing actual videos for each of the blocks. But I figured since I have so many to make, let's make some blocks, shall we? We're going to make 2 different log cabins. One is a typical log cabin that you would see in any other quilt. I guess they're both typical. A 3-color log cabin, and then there is a 4-color log cabin that I have to do. I have to do 23 of the 3-color log cabins and 8 of the 4-color. And here's what they look like. This quilt that she has designed has a colorway of I think it's 10 different colors in it. I decided to be different and do the whole quilt in, I guess, 3 colors. Purples. So it'll be all different shades of purples from dark to light. And my background color is black. And then in the very center of the quilt will be, let me go grab that. I thought I grabbed it and I forgot. It will be a piece of Kate Bassett. It will be this lovely, let's see if I can get this to stick. This lovely green case in the center. That is the only spot that there will be green, is in the very center of the quilt. Other than that, all the colors are purple and black. I saw this quilt and decided that I wanted to try and do somewhat of a colorway of one color. And because purple happens to be one of my favorite colors, that's what I decided on. Okay, so this one right here is the typical log cabin. And then, I don't know if you can tell, this one down here is what we're calling the 4-color log cabin. If you can tell, it has the same colors and the same spots as the one up here, except for this color and this one down here. Now, speaking of log cabins, I love log cabins. I love the way they look. I love the meaning of them. However, I have had the hardest time since I picked up quilting again, doing the log cabin, to the point of, as much as I like them, I just wouldn't do them because I just could not get them to turn out right. Well, I was trying to make the log cabin for this and I kept messing up. So I got a hold of Hetty. We sat through. She made the block. It came out right. There was a part of it that I just was not grasping. So what I did was we printed off, it's in a PDF format. So we printed off the pattern and I stepped away. I took a break. I did a bunch of other stuff and I came back to it. I read the pattern through and then I went back and I started laying out the blocks just like I have them over here. As you can see, I've got them all lined up to where they need to be. Now, it literally took me reading the entire pattern and laying out the blocks before it clicked in my head what I was doing wrong. So my advice to you is, if you're having a hard time for whatever reason with a quilt pattern, if you're having a hard time with like a block, step away from it, put it aside, go do something else, go garden, go make something to eat, take a break, whatever the case is. Print out the pattern if you can. Come back, read the pattern, and literally lay out the block step by step while checking off each section that you need to. And then maybe it'll click, because that's what it took for me to do. Now, I am not giving any measurements because it is not my pattern. So I think the first thing we're going to work on is the multicolor or the 4-color log cabin, because that's just what I'm working on. It's the closest one to me. Whoops, my pieces keep falling off my board. So I'm going to take my center square. I'm going to take the piece that needs to go on the bottom and I'm going to sew it. And this uses a 1/4-inch seam. Now, I will post a link for her email. If y'all would like the patterns, it is not released yet, but you know. Now I could chain piece these, but I have found that it's just easier for me if I make one at a time. So all I did was I sewed the thing and I finger pressed, or you could seam roll it, or you could press it with your iron. And what I have been doing is pressing all of my seam allowances the same way. So they're all going towards the center. Now I'm going to take the next piece, make sure I have it facing me right, and I'm going to put the side piece on. So I hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend. I just sewed. Whoops, I don't know what that did. See, Memorial Day, I joined John from Guy's Craft 2. He had a little quilting bee thing that he does all on every holiday that he's off work. And let's see where Oh, here it is. I will show y'all what I made. I thought I had everything over here already. All right, so John had given away this pattern, and I happen to have won it. It's called Banner Day from Villa Rosa. It's like a table runner, but what I'm going to use it for is I'm going to put it up on the wall. But so here it is. And I just used like a little batik-ish red and blue. And then I had this white. I had a couple of back quarters of this printed white. Let me see. With little designs on it. And I thought that would be cute for the stars. So that's what I used. All right. So that's what I did. I got to seam press this. So there's our first little piece. Okay, now I'm going to put on our first dark side piece. What is going on with my machine here? I hit a setting or something. Let's see. See if I can figure it out real quick. Oh, there we go. All right. I'm just making sure my sides are lined up and that my the seam allowance that I'm going across is laying the right way. That and that it doesn't flip. If it does flip, it's not a huge deal. I can fix it. All right. So there's our first little. So I'm going to put on our next piece, and that'll be our first complete round one. There are 3 rounds in this. All right. And so now, again, folding it towards the center. So now I'm back where I started. There we go. Now I'm going to pick up the second piece of the first piece of the second round of light colors. And we're just going around in circles, basically. But this is very easy to get confused with if you just have them piled up. Because, like, for instance, most patterns, there's only like an inch to a half inch difference on most patterns between all the pieces. You know, you're going from smaller to bigger. And some of them can get they look very similar until you get to the larger ones, and it's very easy to just pick up the wrong piece. All right, now we're on to our second one. I've rotated, so I know that I'm gonna need this. And if you're doing a log cabin and you pick up a piece and you lay it down and it's too long or it's too short, stop. Go back, check your pattern. Okay. After you've checked your pattern and you're sure you've got the right, go back and look at the one that you picked up. You may have got it in the wrong order. It's very easy to do that. There we go. Some seams. The other thing I did was I starched every piece of fabric. I think I wound up with ordering 20, 30 something yards of fabric between the amounts that I needed for each piece. And I starched every single piece, every single yard of fabric within an inch of its life. And I have noticed that that has helped a tremendous amount. All right. That's what it looks like so far. Our second, our dark piece, just lining it up. Oh, seam flip. There we go. And it's a simple 1/4 inch seam, as usual. Now, I was going to show a picture of the quilt. However, because I decided to do videos to go along with this, I am not going to show the quilt until I'm completely done with it. Just because the pattern is not ready. Okay. Now I need this piece. But you could very easily do a chain piecing with this. But just because I finally figured it out, I decided to, and because I'm on a live, I've decided to just do it one block at a time. So that I do not make any mistakes. All right, now this is where it's different. Normally, you would put the next piece on and keep going, but because of this, I am not. I'm going to put the dark slide pieces on first. And this is, whoops, hang on. The only time that I'm doing that. Thing. Yeah. I have to look at something when we're done here. Backwards, but that's okay. All right, this is my threads. Okay. Ah, I did do it wrong. I knew I was doing it wrong. Please hold. I put it on the wrong side. Silly me. All right, just a second while I simmer this. I've been thinking about trying one of those electric seam rippers. If you have any suggestions for one, let me know. Okay, pull out my extra threads here. And I need to fix this side real quick. Okay. Silly me, put it on the wrong end. And I have been thinking about, in our last live, Barry from Barry Quilts was in my chat. Was in the chat, and we were discussing possibly doing a sunbonnet Sue. Now I don't know what his plans are, but I am definitely going to be doing one. So if you by chance have any favorite sunbonnet Sue quilt patterns, let me know, because I have recently become obsessed with them and I don't know why. I remember my mom making them, and I remember her making us blankets or quilts, you know. Oops. Because not everything was a quilt that she made. But I remember her putting them on like blankets and quilts, and when she would make dresses for us or for my nieces and nephew, or my nieces and my cousins. Um, I don't know if that's why I've been wanting to do one, but all of a sudden I have this urge to make them. So now we're going to take our fourth color. So as you can see, I've added the last dark pieces first. And now I'm just going to, just like I was going around, I'm going to put it up where I start. So these last two pieces are taking place of the last two light colors I would have used. My bobbin's almost empty. So apparently I'm gonna pay bobbin chicken. Oh, I'm right at the end. I might actually lose. Maybe. Yep. All right, that's okay. I got a bobbin ready. Now, I will say this about the pattern. I love the way she has written it. It's literally step for step. I do believe that a beginner could put this together if they are following the steps. She has step for step directions for every piece of this book, every block, every piece of a block, anything that you are sewing together, there's a instructions for it. She also, when you buy the pattern, as part of the pattern, she's got a section where she shows the colors she's used, what the names of it are, and then there's a section next to it for you to cut out a piece of fabric and match it to whatever color you're doing versus her color. And there's another section where you can write down the info on that fabric so that if something happens and you have to order more fabric, you're not scrambling to figure out what it is. It's right there. I find that it's been pretty easy to follow. So I'm excited for her. She also does custom quilt patterns. All right, for our last piece. Taking our longest piece that I have. And we're sewing it on. I'm going to cut that thread and start that over. There we go. Now we're lined up. Okay. Trim our extra thread here. And our block's done. Now, this is where I would actually press if this was the only one I was doing. And I would trim it. So there it is. That's the 4-way color. The other one goes the exact same way, except we're just using all the same colors. We're not switching out on the last two. So again, center square, bottom square. Laying it down, lining it up, and with a 1/4 inch, I'm sewing it. Now I will be doing this for all the blocks. The only one I'm not going to do a video on or live on is the HST. My next one will be the Stairway to Heaven block. So, again, just lining up my third piece of fabric. And after laying them out so they look like a log cabin, so that you don't get mixed up. If by chance you're still grabbing the wrong pieces, try doing this instead. Lay them out just like I said to, but instead of stacking them on top of each other, take a piece of paper like a sticky note or a clippy, a quilt clip or anything like that, and let's say 5 for every 5 blocks. There's a piece of paper on every section of it. So you know that, hey, I gotta stop. Or you can use letter pens or little sticky notes that you stick to the fabric so you know what order they go in from 1 to whatever. As a quilter, you have to find whatever way works better for you. And just because it may not work for somebody else doesn't mean that it's the wrong thing to do. If it helps you, then that's all that matters. I keep doing that. If you're working on a quilt block and you have tried the way the person says to do it and it's just not working for you, try it a different way. As long as it comes out the same or the way it should, it doesn't matter. Set it up the way it works for you. If you do better chain piecing everything, then chain piece. If you do better working one at a time, then that's how you should do it. So, as I stated before, my schedule, I tried to have a schedule. As for now, my schedule is going to be Monday nights for live. And then I think I'm going to do Wednesday night lives at 6. And then on Wednesdays, I'll do them at 7. And then I'm going to release at least 1 video a week. If I feel like going live again during the week, then I will. But for now, that's how it's going to be. So Mondays at 6, Wednesdays at 7, and 1 video a week. Now, that's not to say that you may not get more videos. It's just at least 1 video a week is my goal. Although with this particular quilt, it may be 2 videos a week. I'm not sure yet. Okay. Moving on to the next piece. I would say that, and she mentions this in the pattern too, have at least 4 bobbins pre-wound and ready to go. And I'm really gonna try and start having that automatically because it just makes it easier for me, I've learned. Flip our threads. I forgot to put that one. Pull it back. And that's what we've got so far. Again, this is just the typical 3 colorway log cabin. I wonder if I got my sizes mixed up because this is not laying right. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and look, but I'll use my extra piece here that I have. Flip our threads. There's that. And now, on our last go round. Our threads. I think what happened was when they fell off earlier, I just put them in the wrong spot. That's okay. All right, so that's what we've got so far. We got 2 more pieces to put on. Another way to make sure you're going the right way is however many sides or rounds there are. So like I know that there's 3 rounds of each color on this block. So I can easily count 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. And I can clearly see that this side and this side does not have a third piece. So that's what it was. I have found out that I quite enjoy pattern testing. It basically costs me the same, whether I'm pattern testing or not. The only difference is I get the pattern for free, but I still have to supply the fabric. So I'd have to buy the fabric anyways if I was making a quilt. So I quite enjoy it. All right, last piece. Where'd my long piece go? There. Oops. Almost sewed it on the wrong side again. Just a second. My fabric shifted. Just need that. There we go. That's better. But my suggestion is find something that's big enough for you to lay out your blocks on, that you can keep beside you, and go like that. That's because I don't think if I hadn't done it this way, I don't think I would have been able to figure it out on my own. Even with her doing it and telling me this is what you, it just was not clicking in my head, no matter what was being said. I even read the pattern to her as she was making the quilt, as she was making the block, and I still was not grasping it. And as I was reading the pattern, laying out the blocks, that's what made it click. I realized that I had to um sub 2 of the fabrics. And there we go. Well, guys, it's been fun. Um, if y'all would like to hang around, I'll make a couple of more blocks of these. Just somebody type in the chat if y'all want to keep going, or if y'all would like to say goodnight. But until then, I'll make another one. I think we'll make one more of each. Originally, I had the middle square, this lighter pink bubble gum. It's not pink, it's purple, but this, I had it as a really dark color. I thought that would look really good, and then I actually made the block and realized I didn't like it after I cut the fabric out. So another tip is when you're doing something like this that has multiple colors and you're just not sure and you're trying to figure it out, cut enough fabric to make one block out of each colorway that you're considering and do it that way. And then that way you can see which one you like best. All right. And this is one block. If you're a person that does this and you leave your threads, this is probably one block that I would suggest making sure that you cut the threads off. That way they don't become entangled and show. Sometimes you can sew over them and they could slip through and be seen from the other side. Fabrics are stuck together. Mhm. But the pattern is called Serenity, right? For some reason, I think I have that wrong. Okay. Also in the pattern, she sews at least two, maybe three different ways of doing HSTs. I believe she shows single, or not single, double, the 4-way and 8-way. Well, I'm missing a page to my pattern. I'm going to show y'all. It's in black and white, but I'm just going to show y'all. I was going to give you a sneak peek. But I lost the picture. Is it over here? I did. I left it over here. Sanctuary, not Serenity. I knew that wasn't right. The pattern is called Sanctuary. Sorry about that. All right. So, as I said, the pattern is called Sanctuary, and it's offered in 2 sizes. When you buy the pattern, you I believe you get both sizes. Let's see. I could show you, can't show you that one. So this isn't the best picture. I don't know where my other paper went. That was just the picture. But if you look at it here, that is, there's your sneak peek. I know it's in black and white. I couldn't help it. That's just how it printed. Eventually, I will have one printed in color. All right, I think we're gonna finish this block, and then we're probably gonna call it a night. All right, let's see. Where am I at on here? All right. All right. So this one. I can share my. It's always the bottom seam that flips down or it looks different. So. All right, now I've got those on. I've got to go back and put one. my threads here. Fold it down. All right, put our other piece on now. It's the last of the dark pieces. Our regular dark pieces, I should say. I'm very, very excited to see how this turns out. I've never tried to do a quilt like this in a colorway like this, so. And I am doing a king size quilt. And see, I didn't pay attention in my seam flip. There we go. Okay, adding on the last pieces. Super dark border. It goes on the light side. Hey, hon. Hello, Hetty. Hi, piece. I figured you would be eating dinner. Are you kidding me? Get down there. Seam didn't want to stay flat. There we go. All right. There she is. And that's again the 4 colorway. So, oh, what are you having? I just wanted to go look at something real quick. All right, well, let's see. I think for now, I'm probably gonna call it a night. And get to make a niece. So got a lot to make. So with that, I just want to say thanks to everybody that came in. Um, thanks to Hetty for letting me test this. And I will see y'all. Let's see, what is today? Today is Thursday. So I might see y'all this weekend. I'm not sure. We'll see. But do be expecting a video. So I'm sure I will be live over the weekend because I need to get this done. So with that, guys, y'all have a good night and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.